welcome back. I really hope you've been enjoying our coverage so far today. I'm really excited to be joined by Mahesh Desai. He is the president and owner of Kingfisher, a leading SAP BI consultancy. Thank you so much for joining us.
No problem. Welcome to be here.
Well, Mahesh, I wanted to start out, you bring sort of a unique perspective to this conversation. You were what many people would dub a legacy business objects partner. Can you tell us a little bit about Kingfisher's background?
Absolutely. The history, we came actually from the Seagate software days, which is where Crystal Reports, the most popular BI tool, came from. Crystal Reports was a Seagate tool up until about the late 90s, and then Crystal Decisions was spun off from them. In the mid-2000s, BusinessObjects acquired Crystal Decisions. That's where BusinessObjects took over the Crystal legacy in the enterprise infrastructure. And from there, of course, SAP acquired BusinessObjects in 2008, I believe.
So you go all the way back to the pre-BusinessObjects days.
Back to 93, in fact, yes.
It's a really interesting perspective to bring. So what are you seeing now? What are some of the most popular projects out there?
The key things that have changed over the last couple of years, dashboarding was huge and became almost all-encompassing about 2 years ago. Last year, more and more, there was SAP integration work that was required, more business intelligence on top of SAP backends. This year, there's a lot of migration work at the beginning of the year and going on into the latter part of the year with version 4's release as well.
So with version 4, you mentioned the integration and then the migration end of this being so popular. What is driving people towards 4.0, both legacy BusinessObjects customers and SAP customers?
Well, that's two very, very different perspectives. The legacy customers were approaching the acquisition with trepidation. We'd already seen Desktop Intelligence and Performance Manager be sunsetted by BusinessObjects. They were worried about what was going to be sunsetted by SAP, what was going to be supported, how much R&D was actually going to be dedicated to this acquisition. And it left them in a state of paralysis for a while. What they've realized and what they've found is that there's actually a wealth of R&D being pushed towards BusinessObjects. SAP is completely genuine about how far they want to take BusinessObjects as the promotional tool effectively out of the SAP suite. Oops. Just leave that there, I suppose. And then for the SAP customers, they wanted to know how quickly the integration was going to happen.
Right.
And version 4 being the first new version with all of the SAP R&D coming through, there's a lot of pressure on them to get it right. And I think they've done a fabulous job. I think ASUG has done an absolutely fabulous job keeping the legacy customers abreast and aware of SAP's intentions, making sure that they understand which of the products are getting the sort of focus and support from SAP R&D. The legacy customers are now looking at a completely fresh version 2 web interface for version 4. It's a much sharper looking product. It's the leap ahead that they needed. 3.1 was starting to, in all honesty, look a little stale.
Yeah.
The legacy customers do get a whole lot of infrastructure help as well. Things that are not so glamorous, things that are not so salesy, but the infrastructure for things like auditing and the mechanisms for monitoring your environment have been improved dramatically. I don't think enough's been made about that. For the SAP customers, of course, we've got a whole slew of advantages for them as well. And it's natural that the first release would work heavily on integrating the existing customers. So I think there's a lot there for everybody. From the legacy customers, there is a sense of security that, yes, we are on a platform that will be long-lived. We don't have to have SAP backend to be able to go forward with this. And it was a very successful merger when BusinessObjects acquired Crystal. BusinessObjects needed the Crystal infrastructure. I'm seeing this become a very successful acquisition as well, with the R&D coming in right when BusinessObjects needed it, and the support of a massive company like SAP was exactly what BusinessObjects needed to stay and maintain its advantage across the BI platform, and it's showing with the new tools that are out there, and the federation and the universal improvements and a variety of things.
Yeah, it seems like there's a general enthusiasm here for, both on the part of legacy customers and SAP customers to really move to 4.0 that I hadn't seen at Sapphire or other conferences. It seems to be a little bit more well received now.
Yes, there's been a few expectations for the general availability date set by the press, mostly for earlier on in the year, but we had a number of ramp-up customers on 4.0.
Yeah.
We worked with them. There's a very stringent mechanism that SAP uses to make sure that when they do release a product, it has met a whole slew of criteria. It's the right time to release it. It's a good product. People have been waiting for it for a while. I'm sure it will be followed up with. Expectations on software companies are ridiculous. Everybody wants every feature to work immaculately every time, and it's just not going to happen. But from what we've seen, this is a very stable product, and genuinely, since BusinessObjects acquired Crystal, there's been an improvement in the quality of new releases. BusinessObjects Legacy, back in the 5 and 6 versions, they had some difficulties with releasing solid products.
Yeah.
The Crystal infrastructure made that a lot better, and the SAP infrastructure is making that still more sound and still more secure. So particularly for mid-market customers who might be a little intimidated by the concept of SAP, it's actually doing a lot of good things to make the product a lot more stable, and the release is a lot more secure to take on. Not everybody needs to move straight away, but for the people that need the new features, for the people that are really going to be able to take advantage of them, there's a sense of security that not only is this a securely tested product, but it's also going to be rapidly followed up with a lot of, I think they're calling them feature packs now,
right,
rather than service packs, which
right.
May be a marketing term, but it's also going to bring a few additions from what I gather.
So it's a stable release. People, apart from some of the bugs and things that happen with all releases. But what about the parts that aren't technical? Having successful BI projects by working with partners. What would your top 3 pieces of advice be there for working well with your BI consultancy?
There's really different roles for different partner profiles and for different customer profiles. The large enterprise customers have a very specific set of needs. They're much more mature generally, broadly speaking, with respect to their acceptance and understanding of BI, and to their infrastructure to be able to support a proper BI initiative. There's a massive difference between reporting and BI, and unfortunately, people aren't really always getting the full benefit of business
Really?
intelligence. They get the reporting that they need, and they stop a little early. For the mid-market customers, one of the other things that SAP has done is, with the Edge packaging, the products are so well interwoven, and with version 4 so much more usable as a combined set, that it makes mid-market companies' initiation into business intelligence so much easier. The key thing for all business intelligence initiatives is to actually partner with a center of excellence, or a partner that has that credibility, that has been certified by SAP, that's been proven to have worked with the products and knows what they're doing. It's unfortunate, but a lot of our customers have fallen foul of a false economy.
Right.
We can throw bodies at this problem rather than throw knowledge at this problem.
Right.
Doesn't always work for them, and unfortunately, a lot of times we have to come in and clean up the mess afterwards. But
Well, that's good news. Good news for you, as
it is. I'd much rather get in at the beginning of the budget cycle where there's some left, whereas quite often we have to come in a little later where things have already been spent and some of the goals of the original initiative have been taken off the board just to be able to stay within budget. What we find is a lot of the mid-market customers don't know what they don't know.
Right.
And they need to invest some time with their partners to be shown different alternatives almost before putting the full specification of the project together. It's very difficult for an entrant into business intelligence to be able to understand and comprehend everything they could do straight off the bat.
right.
Working with a partner, getting some time invested with them, and understanding what is available and how best to promote certain tools for certain problems. It really helps make the ROI on a business intelligence initiative much more achievable and much more complete.
Well, that's great advice. Thank you so much, Mahesh, for spending the time talking to us about this. Next up, we have our CEO, Bridget Chambers, and Steve Lucas. It's a very special interview. Please don't miss it.
You
Good
done?
job, yeah.
Thanks. Bit nervous to start with, but
Oh, you did a very
seemed
good
to get
job.
by.
You